We are approaching that time of year again. A time of great exhilaration. A time of great pleasure. A time of great fear. The darker sides of all crave that latter delight from themselves, but even more so, from others. To satiate that hunger, our dark selves take interest in entertainment from tales of the macabre that appeal to our deepest fears as only mortals face. The only way to achieve this is to begin the dark ritual where Brian, the nerdporeal life form himself, and a special guest will discuss a particular tale during this season to ward off pure evil, as well as to entertain and to educate. Proceed at your own peril to the third season of the Serial Horror Chat.
Thanks. Actually, you know what? I was going to say thanks for the invite, but now I see what you're doing. I told you I'm not a horror fan. All right. Well, I mean, this looks well. This is a classic. So, all right, fine. You get a pass this time, but you're still a dipshit. I have won again, Nerdporeal.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Serial Horror Chat. And, well, look at this. PIPS is now a legend. He killed Michael Myers. You know why he killed Michael Myers? Because he shot him with his rifle in the fucking head. So he's dead. Head gone. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Well, thanks.
You saved a lot of lives today.
Thanks for the intro video. You know what? That was pretty nicely done. That was pretty nicely done. Yep. I enjoyed that. You did a good cut there. I like that. So cheers. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, always fun to be on your channel, talk to you about stuff. Today we're talking about a movie which I already got a bunch of shit on our Discord. They're like, "Oh, I can't believe you never saw this movie." I was like,
Oh, really? The Band of the Red Hand?
I never watched the movie intentionally in its entirety. I've like been flipping channels and like seen it on TV and like sat and watched, Yeah. So I've seen the movie, but not together and not like intentionally just sitting down, all that kind of stuff. So this is the first time like sitting down, watching it through. So yeah, it was good. Even though, I've sort of seen it before. Trip, I've sort of seen it before. Leave me alone. I was 3 when this movie came out.
So it seems you're still a little bit down. So I was
a little down.
Yeah, volume.
Oh, my volume level is down. Okay.
So I want to say hello. So while the pit man is
better? You guys let me know if this is better.
Louder. You're gonna sound like Hannibal Lecter. Louder.
Is that louder? Is it better?
No, louder. Come on, louder.
I mean that's like all the way, unless I'm turning it down.
Now you sound like now you sound like you're far away.
All right, what about this?
All right, now it's better.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my apologies. I was turning it the wrong way. I haven't used this microphone in months.
Say you're a dipshit from Chicago. 1, 2, 3.
You're a dipshit from Chicago. 1, 2, 3.
There you go. All right, perfect. You sound great. You sound great. And
I thought you were gonna use that as a lead-in for a clip or something.
no, nothing like that. Remember, I'm doing this on the fly. I didn't write a script, so I'm going to be the awkward one here. So, but yeah.
Salty,
So
thank you for telling me that my volume was screwed up. Yeah.
so hail salty, hail. I haven't said that in a while. Ms. Marn Muses is here, and we have a trip. Why do Brian and Steve always cross over streams? Well, Steve streams when Steve streams. I mean, Steve. Yeah, Steve. Everybody likes
also,
Steve.
Steve streams a lot is kind of the other thing. So like, for Brian, like if he's scheduling his streams and stuff like that, I mean, you gotta schedule your streams when you have time, and then Steve streams like every other day. So.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, I also have, I have guests, and guests like, the pit man here is very limited time. So, I mean, I consider myself, and I'm trying not to sound like an ass, but yeah, I consider myself fortunate to have the pit man here. You call me the nerd man, I call you the pit man. So, the pit man sounds really good, actually. Cheers.
Yeah.
So, what are you drinking? What are you drinking? Oh, shut up. What are you drinking?
I am drinking here. If I can, I don't know how good the lighting can work on this.
Keller beer with an I.
It's a Rittmeyer Keller beer. This is it's a German import. I think maybe it's what you'd call a Marzen. It's a little bit of a darker wheat beer. Tastes like a wheat beer at least. I got it in a like big variety pack of like 24 singletons of just German imports in commemoration of Oktoberfest, even though that's actually in September is when Oktoberfest happens, but I was deployed. So now I'm back and I'm doing Oktoberfest. This weekend I'm actually going to be cooking up a bunch of German food for about 25 of my friends, doing traditional German schnitzel, spätzle, couple other dishes. But so
Marine
German beer, just enjoying life.
Did you hear me? I was asking Marine friends.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can't say because I'm not a Marine, so never mind. The Latin. So
you can say Semper Fi. I mean, that's anyone's allowed to say Latin things.
Well, if I say it, then everybody's going to be offended. You're like, you're not a Marine. You can't say that. So because that's how you that's how you treat each other, right?
So this is maybe sort of a self-report here. Now that I'm a dirty reservist, you can tell by the beard that I'm not active duty anymore. I like my entire life, I'd run into guys who were clearly like former Marines, and I'd talk to them and they'd say that they were a former Marine, and we talked for a little bit, and then they would say, sometimes you'd get a Semper Fi from them, it was like, oh yeah, hey, it was good talking to you, Semper Fi. And I'll admit that like it's like still kind of like not a ingrained reaction even for me. Like it's still like a little odd. Marines, I mean, oftentimes we just kind of grunt at each other. Like, there's not. So
you guys grunt at each other. I learned that you guys eat crayons. So there's a lot of Marine lore out there.
I'm just saying it's a weird dichotomy that like, the same organization where like you just talk and you sort of like, you kind of like hulk your shoulders and just go like, at each other, and that communicates things, also uses Latin to talk to each other. Like it's very, very erudite sort of cavemen is what we're going for, I think.
Erudite? I'm
erudite.
Dumb. Erudite? Well, I don't know what that is. I'm dumb.
The chat can tell me A, if I'm pronouncing it right, and B, they can link us some Websters or something here while we're drinking and talking.
So, all right. So the point of this stream is a serial horror. We're going to be talking about Silence of the Lambs. So, Silence of the Lambs. All right. You know how I first heard of Silence of the Lambs, Pips? I first heard of it. I I first heard of it reading. My dad used to buy the Chicago Sun-Times and the Chicago Tribune every Sunday, and those papers, I don't know if they still do it. But I haven't looked at a newspaper in over a decade, but they used to have TV guides every time. And the TV guides would always have the cable movies at the very end of the TV guide. And I would read the cable movies because they would be rated by however Roger Ebert would or Gene Siskel would rate them, 1 out of 4 stars, whatever. And I found this movie called Silence of the Lambs back there. And the thing that I took notice was that this movie won Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Director. So I was like, okay, this sounds like a movie I should check out. Then I learned it was a horror movie. But then again, the summary had the words, FBI agent recruits Hannibal the Cannibal to help find a killer named Buffalo Bill. I was like, is this a joke? I was like 13 or 14. I was like, is this a joke? And then I saw the movie at the video store, rented it on VHS. And I think I was in high school. And you know what? I was like, you know what? This is actually pretty darn good. And my brother was like, I think 8 or 9 at the time. And he was watching it with me. And ever since then, like my brother is like you. He's not a horror fan. Doesn't like slasher movies. Doesn't like, all that. But he does like thrillers and really, intelligent. I wouldn't even consider Silence of the Lambs a horror movie, even though this is serial horror.
To be honest, no.
This is more like a procedural thriller.
Okay, I get why you go procedural, because that definitely, like, the FBI or sort of like cop kind of show or movie. Like I get that, but I would think it's like, I would say psychological thriller is what I would say, right? That's
that too. Oh, that too.
Movie.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there.
I think like what this movie is the one-on-one conversations between Starling and Lecter. Like that makes
the movie. That was just like I'm 15 years old. I'm watching this. ADD is still in full display, and that scene just I was glued to the screen. Like it was terrifying, and it was very intelligent. Like I mean Hannibal Lecter in this movie, he stole the show. Best character. I mean, one thing I'll say,
Oscar for this role.
Yes, he did. Anthony Hop.
I was gonna say he really better have. I mean,
what?
So good. Right?
Part of the reason why this movie was really successful was this thing that doesn't exist now. It's called passion for something. So this movie is the second part. This is I don't know if you know this, but this is part of a book series by a guy named Thomas Harris. The first book was called Red
series, but
you have.
I haven't read the book series, but I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I mean, come on, you Pips. I mean, I would swear you read every book series ever made or something. You're way better. You're way better read than
I am potentially the least well read of my friends.
Not me. You've read 14 Wheel of Time books.
There, freaking nerd man. I mean, look at all that.
What? That's the whole second shelf is Wheel of Time, and that's just a bunch of the rest of it's nerd stuff. Like, encyclopedias for this series, or encyclopedias for that series, or the World of Ice and Fire.
This guy over here is reading encyclopedias, and he's saying he's not well read. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Hey, well, Star Trek Encyclopedia was my best friend when I was 14. When I was in 8th grade, when I was 14, Voyager season 5 was out. DS9 season 7 was going on. That show was coming to an end. So yeah, a lot of stuff was going on. And I was collecting original series VHSs. Yeah. That was, I mean, when I started collecting VHSs and keeping the VHS boxes intact, I don't know if you ever dealt with VHS boxes being ruined. We have quite a bit, to the point where the box would be thrown out because it was just that badly damaged, and would just be the tape by itself, the VHS by itself. So,
yeah.
But I managed to keep those original.
I had a box of Return of the Jedi that was about in that condition.
Yeah, so Star Wars was Star Wars trilogy, the mid 90s reissue. I kept that as in good shape as I possibly could, but then again, once again, the box ends up on the floor because someone was just being a dick, and somebody steps on it or sits on it. That was the reality of it. So, but with my Star Trek tapes, I made sure nobody touched them, and I had the Larry David system in play. I take the tape out of the sleeve, put the sleeve on top of the VCR, put the tape into the rewinder, because by the time when a VCR is old enough, the rewinder just doesn't work anymore. So we had to buy like a separate rewinder. I don't know if you ever used one of those, but that's what
I had one.
You had one. Okay, there you go. So you know the pain. Well, you're old like me. And put the tape in, and you leave the box on top of the VCR no matter what. And I managed to keep those tapes, those sleeves healthy for years. But the thing is, I got rid of them. I probably shouldn't have, but I got rid of them because I needed money, because it was college. So, but how I that's yeah. So going back to Thomas Harris. Silence of the Lambs was the second book in the series. Red Dragon was the first one. I actually recently watched the original. I actually watched the original movie. The original adaptation was called Manhunter. And man, is that movie like pure 80s cheese. Like it's like watching Miami Vice, but with some like cheesy horror. There's like some cheesy horror elements. The bad guy in that movie is, once again, he is a serial killer. Only difference is, in that movie, the serial killer, the Tooth Fairy, actually kills one of his victims on screen. So unlike, one thing that I was surprised when I first saw Silence of the Lambs is that Buffalo Bill, we hear about Buffalo Bill. We know that he skins, he abducts. We saw him abduct, the senator woman's daughter, Ted Bundy style, because he pretended to have a cast on, and he beat her with the cast on. We didn't see him kill anybody. We just see the after effects. We see, like, we saw the body after the fact, in the water. We see like he cuts, like he's basically a seamstress, but with skin, so yeah, just the whole Buffalo Bill thing. He wasn't actually in as much of the movies I thought he was. He was only in I think he was in less than Hannibal Lecter. And
for sure. Yeah, it's, if anything, the movie
he was overshadowed.
Is strange.
Yeah,
the movie is strange because of like how little he's in it. It is definitely interesting. He's sort of the impetus for like what turns out to be the main plot, which is Starling and Lecter.
Yeah.
Right. With her trying to get him to give information about Buffalo Bill, but like, yeah, he's a minor. He's like a minor player, which honestly, like, I don't want to go like too much into criticisms here right at the beginning, but like, if I could give a criticism,
you can.
I think that the movie didn't show enough of her actually tracking Bill down. Like, it showed a little bit. She like went to the original victim's house, and like, and it just kind of seemed like, she talked to like one or two people and then was there, and
yeah.
And
I don't even remember how exactly.
I feel like I would have liked to have seen, rather than the note written on like the maps and stuff like that in the case file by Lecter. I feel like I would have rather seen her kind of getting a little more into the mind of the killer herself and like figuring it out, right? Which is I think what Lecter was trying to do, and what I think I kind of wanted to see happen. Like, I wanted to see her like delve into the dark and like have to go down there to find it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think the reason why they didn't go with this is because that's kind of what what Red Dragon, I think, was kind of about. I think Red Dragon was really the main character in that one. It wasn't Clarice. I forget what was his name. Will Graham.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Will Graham, I think, goes down that route. But once again, Lecter is in the mix. So in Red Dragon or Manhunter. So but yeah, I would definitely. I mean, I haven't seen the entire Hannibal Lecter franchise, I guess you could call it. Like, I still haven't seen. I saw Hannibal long time ago. Long time ago, I saw Hannibal. Never saw Hannibal Rising. That's the prequel where he's young and
Yeah.
everything. And then I don't know about you, but have you ever? I've heard nothing but good things about the Hannibal TV series that Brian Fuller made. That had what's his
Um.
name play Hannibal. I can't think of his name. The guy that played Lashif in Casino Royale.
Yes.
That actor. I
Um.
can't think of his name.
So I watched. I think I watched like 3 seasons of that show, and I stopped watching it because I really wanted to get my wife to watch it and have us like keep watching it. I think I watched 3 seasons, and it was super good. Like it was
Yes, that's what I heard.
really really good. Um, it was like
That I heard the final
very
season.
disturbing.
I heard the
Like
final season basically covers Red Dragon. The red, or at least I think it does. Red Dragon is where
okay,
once again it
yeah,
goes after the Tooth Fairy. The main character in the show is the same character as in Red Dragon, Will Graham. So yeah,
mhm.
it was interesting. How they changed Jack Crawford's character. Apparently, Jack Crawford's based off of a real FBI agent. I can't think of his name. That was in charge of the behavioral sciences division.
Mhm.
Putting together profiles. Character profiles on serial killers, psychiatric profiles on
Yeah,
serial killers. At least if I'm getting Mads Mikkelsen, yeah, Trip remembers. I can't
yeah.
remember.
The
I've been.
the plot of that other show, Mindhunters, I think it was a Netflix show, is kind of about the I think it's a dramatization as well, but about the FBI putting together the serial criminal,
Yeah.
serial killer kind of task force and all the behavioral psych guys doing the modeling, all that other stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
was,
yeah,
it was
I've yeah.
similar to the Hannibal TV show. Just another good TV show.
Is it good? I don't know. I've heard mixed things about it, but then again, when it comes to
Okay,
Netflix stuff, I'm a
I
little
only
skeptical.
saw I think the first 2 seasons, and I think they had at least one more season. And I remember the first season being pretty good. Um, I don't really recall the second season too much. I think I might have watched that while I was deployed, but anyway, I remember it being good. You guys can shoot me in the comments if I'm not. Speaking of comments, Ronnie G is here. Hey, how's it going?
Did you know? What's up, man? Did you know that going back, there was a
Probably
lot of
not.
passion. There was a lot of passion behind, especially behind the directors, the people involved wanting to do this project. They read the source material. The director read the source material. He wanted to do it. Jodie Foster read the source material. She sought this role out, even though she just won. She just won an Oscar where she played a rape victim. I haven't seen that movie. She did it right before this, so I can't. The
Hmm.
Accused, I think, is what the movie's called. Haven't seen it, but she won the Oscar for that. Anthony Hopkins even tried to. Anthony Hopkins was just like he was skeptical about. He's like he thought this. He was told The Silence of the Lambs was the name of the movie. He's like, is this a kids movie or something? And then he read the script. He's like, holy crap, this is probably the best thing I've ever. This is probably the best role I've ever seen. And well, let's just say it made his career after that. So
So I that was a question I had going into it, right? Like Anthony Hopkins, I feel like is an amazing actor who's been in so many great roles. Like,
yeah,
did this really make his career? Was he already an established actor?
I mean, he was an
Um,
already established actor, but I think at this point, he was at a downward spiral until this movie came
hmm,
out. So he was really known. Reason why he got cast was because he was in a movie back in the '70s called The Elephant Man. I think that's David Lynch. That's the one about this one deformed.
yeah,
Guy. I don't know if he was. I forget if it was a circus guy, but it was John Hurt played the deformed guy, and Anthony Hopkins played the kind, benevolent doctor. And so he's like, the director Jonathan Demme was like, I want you to play like that doctor, but just have this shadow. Just have you're a good man surrounded by just evil, insanity or something. At least I think that's how he put it. But um,
hmm,
But you know what's funny is, and I just found this out. So, um, they originally tried to get Sean Connery to play Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, that would have been
I don't
terrible.
know what this shit is. What the Hannibal. What is this? So he's like, nah.
I,
So he didn't do it. You know what's funny? I was telling my brother this. They approached him to play Gandalf. Peter Jackson approached him to play Gandalf and for Lord of the Rings. Sean
Sean
Connery.
Connery or
A wizard? What a wizard? What's a wizard? What
uh,
is this fantasy crap? I fucked the prom
as
queen. What the fuck is this?
as someone with Scottish blood on in my family and my wife's family, the Scottish accent is ridiculous and shouldn't be on TV outside of period pieces or whatever.
So
Like
true. So true.
you can have Highlanders, they can sound like Scots, and pretty much everybody else like
Yeah.
if my mother-in-law ever were to stumble across this video, she's from Scotland, she'd be real mad about this, but
Any
deep down she would
any
she would know I'm right.
any redheads in the family? Because I know redheads. I think are very prominent in Scotland.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know all
Mm-hmm.
of my wife's cousins.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can
who
assure you, I
knows?
am not Scottish. I'm not
Yeah,
Scottish.
you're a dirty Polak.
Hey, I got some German. I have some Deutsch in me too,
Yeah,
somewhere.
because they invaded you guys successfully a couple times because you guys rolled on your back like
Oh,
dirty Polacks.
fuck off.
The
But
German the German half of my heritage
the
made me
German.
say that joke.
Oh,
Uh,
but yeah.
uh,
Um,
Man,
but
okay, just on Hopkins casting,
yeah.
right? So when I was watching this movie, I was thinking through that, like, nowadays there's this whole conversation about like, oh, like why does the appearance of actors matter and stuff like that, right?
What do you mean?
And I don't just like with casting, sort of diverse casting, we'll put that way, right? It's like, oh, why do you even care what the actor looks like? Any actor can play any role, right? I feel like this role actually demonstrates the limits of that argument. There's lots of limits to that argument. Not going to get into it, politics and stuff on your channel. All I want to say is just think of this. Would this movie have been the same if Anthony Hopkins had brown eyes?
Probably not.
Right? Like that piercing blue stare. Like there is like, honestly, yeah, like zoom in on your eyes. You got those just blue just looking into your soul. You can't trust blue-eyed people. Everyone knows that.
What do you see, Pips? What do you see?
But let's just say, like, I don't think it would have. I think they're like that like stare. I think it wouldn't have had the same effect.
There was a
And I
lot
think you can
of there
tell
was a
this
lot of
because
close-ups like this, by the way.
yes, right. And
Yeah.
I actually had a question, and I don't know if anybody in the audience or if you knows this. Did they intentionally dilate Hopkins' eyes for those scenes?
I have no idea. I have not
Because
looked that deeply into it.
I feel like his eyes were much more dilated than hers were in the scenes.
Hmm.
And also, again, she had brown eyes, he has blue eyes, and
Yeah.
the difference between those two shots, a lot of it, for me at least, was in the eyes, right?
I don't. Does she have brown eyes? She
I
doesn't have
thought so.
brown eyes.
They're dark, right?
No, not really. No, she got blue eyes. Joy Foster.
Then
Yeah.
then they're just dark. They're I
Mm.
don't know. I was watching it on a laptop with shitty screen, maybe. I don't know. I
Hey,
my
I
takeaway.
sent you that video, so maybe it's a
That's
video.
true. You did. The takeaway, like, my takeaway was less really about the color and the lightness, right? So in the switches back and forth between the two of them, her eyes were much darker. Were the pupil was a lot smaller, a lot kind of less dilated, and his were just like rings of like piercing blue, right? Like almost white, right? See, like, yeah, that shot right there. I
She
guess
got
like
she
when I look
clearly
at
got
that,
blue gray eyes right here.
I will admit, looking at it now, just maybe the size of the pupil just kind of like told me they were dark eyes. It's just the framing, really. Like his eyes, like they look almost white blue, right? And then
Yeah.
hers look a lot darker. So I will say, okay, fine. I was wrong. They're
Yeah,
clearly
those are
not.
the brownest eyes I've
Yeah.
ever seen, Pips.
You
Brownest
know what?
eyes
Screw
ever.
you, man. My point is the relative brightness of the eyes. I think really played.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me see if I can find a
or
later. Okay, I
maybe
don't
or
want to
maybe I'm
see.
just drunk, and
Here we
all
go.
of you
Here we go.
guys.
Here we go. This is a
Yeah,
good shot right here.
this is probably one of those things where I just like totally like had that thought in a scene where like that first one where you showed where she was kind of farther away from the camera and her eyes looked a little bit darker, and I
By the
just sort of
way,
like
this guy, Marine,
yeah.
Scott Glenn. No, of course you knew.
Ah, he's also a great actor.
Oh yeah,
He's in
I was just
he's
thinking.
in
He was in Daredevil. He was the blind guy in
he's also in
Daredevil.
a show on Apple TV right now. Monkey something with Vince Vaughn, or not Vince Vaughn? Is it Vince Vaughn? What is it?
I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know.
You're way
He's
more
he's in a
versed
show
in
on Apple TV right now.
modern slop than I am. I don't know how you navigate through that. Like,
All right. You guys in the chat can give me shit about thinking that she had darker eyes than she does, but I still think that my point about Anthony Hopkins, the like those close-up shots of the like piercing blue eyes with like the dilated pupil, like there was something to that, and I don't know.
all right, wait, here, this is it. Here, there we
Yeah,
go.
like look at that.
Yeah, like this is terrifying. But yeah, look, yeah,
Like
you're right.
yeah,
Dude,
you
those
don't
eyes
even
are
have to
dilated. Holy crap! I
you don't
never
even
even
have
thought
to
of that.
like play like no music, no mood, no dialogue. If you show this picture to someone, their response is going to be like, "Dude, I don't trust that guy. Like that dude is creepy. Like there is something just demonic going on over there, right?" And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean, incredible
He
performance, right? Like granted, incredible performance, but I
best
do
the
think
best part of this movie. I mean, the best part of this movie, and you know what he does? Unlike Buffalo Bill, he kills.
yep.
He kills, and it's
Also
terrifying.
not on camera.
What do you
You
mean? Like
see you see his
you see him?
face
You
when
see his
he's beating the
face when
cop
he's
to death.
okay. All right. Okay.
You
I was like,
don't see him kill the other cop. You don't see him kill the people in the ambulances. You don't see him do. I mean, even when he bites the cop in the face, the it's in a place where you
this.
don't really see.
This.
This is a
This
great
is
shot. Yeah.
this is what I. So I was like, should I include this, or should I include the later shot where they're actually in the room and we see it like this? And
I think through the door is better.
I think through the door is better too. Something about, I don't know, maybe you know human psychology better, but something about fog just creeps the hell out of all of us. I don't know what it is. Like like seeing this makes me happy that the fog machine guy had some work for this day. That's and this is not even, you know, it's funny. You know who is a mentor? So when I always make the joke that, you know, Joe Dante, who directed Howling, he directed Gremlins, he always had the fog guy on hand. Well, Jonathan Demme had the fog guy in hand too. You know why? They had the same mentor. They had what the hell's his name? Roger Corman. Roger Corman was their mentor, and Roger Corman was in this movie. I didn't realize it was him. He was the director of the FBI. He's the one that Crawford calls, like, hey, you had this phony baloney deal going on. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, you know what? Maybe that's why the fog guy had a job this day, or in this case. No comment. Fine. Okay. Fine.
So I didn't really think that it was fog when I was watching this. I thought that it was just like the pane of glass or something like that was kind of my like impression on the scene. I know when we see in the room there's a little bit of smoke or something like that maybe. So
there's something.
You know,
There's something there.
Makes sense as well. Trip pointed out that like it is not just the eyes; it's also the facial expressions that Anthony Hopkins is doing. And like, yes, I will say, okay, question for you: what did you think of Jodie Foster's accent? Oh, that mustache is ridiculous. I loved it. I hated it.
Right here.
it's
You.
it's it's so bad.
What
What
did
did
I
you
think
think
of?
of Jodie Foster's accent?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't have any issue with it. If that's what you're asking,
There,
why?
I don't know. There were
I didn't
times
have.
where
I
like
mean, I didn't really have anything really to compare it to, so I just it wasn't. It
yeah.
wasn't really. It didn't bother me, so I didn't really think much of it.
So
So, what do you think? She's a rube?
no, there was just times where like I didn't think the accent was bad. In that like I have heard people who talk very similarly, like naturally, right? So she like she got an accent that is like, yeah, that's a real accent, right? And she didn't do it poorly. Um,
Yeah.
there's just something about her delivery of it that made it seem like she was doing an accent. Like it seemed like she was working for it instead of it like
Well,
coming
I
very
mean,
naturally. And I can't describe it,
well, she
but
was. It seemed like, I mean, the in the movie, like in the movie, Hannibal is like, hey, you're trying to hide the fact that you sound
Mhm.
like a rube, you're a country bumpkin type of deal. You're not, but maybe I don't know. He was kind of he was messing with her in that area. She was trying to hide that she was from, I don't know, from the country or something. I don't know. Um,
Well, so that was
that's why you called
that's
her.
kind
That's why
of
I called her a rube. You're
that's
a
kind of one
rube.
of the lines that honestly like I think maybe drew my attention even more to the accent in that
Yeah.
he was like you're trying to hide it and like I didn't think she was trying to hide it. If anything, she seemed very obviously to be like doing an accent, you know? Um
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like the movie would have been maybe a little stronger if she did just kind of a natural voice. Her story didn't hinge on that like accent, right? Like
Yeah.
she could have grown up somewhere else and then had a gone to her family and the farm in Montana.
Hmm.
So the accent it seems superfluous and I'm not sure that she delivered it super well. Um,
Well, how would she
I don't know.
how would she have delivered it super well?
I just like I think that you
Um,
see a lot of actors who do accents and they just are super fluid with it. Like, you'll see, I mean, honestly, a lot of British actors do American accents very naturally, right? A lot of Americans can do British accents
yeah.
pretty well, right? Like there's something about just like the voice fitting the person's face, right? And so
Hmm.
it's kind of like Mike Tyson always sounds a little bit weird when you hear Mike Tyson because you're like that's not his
Yeah.
real voice, and it was just
Yeah. This is real
it was just
voice.
that a little bit. Um, anyway, that was a weird aside. I do actually have some notes about the movie that I took because you're the guy who always has notes, so I took notes.
I didn't take any
Um,
notes this time, so yeah,
and
you're out of the
And I
game.
will say the point about like not showing the killing, not really showing the bodies even. So like, the first like half of the movie, you don't see like there's no like, you know, gore bodies. You see the head in a jar, right?
Yeah.
Um but it's not until like halfway through the movie that you see the coroner's table. And even the coroner's table, like if this movie was made today, the scene at the coroner's table would have been so much more graphic and so much more gratuitous, right? Like they would not have had it done um, as like lightly as they do there, right? Like yeah, it shows that scene and like
There you go.
you know,
Yeah. It's
like they
brutal.
they would have they would have had the woman laid out, they would have had her tits up so that they could have those out there,
Nowadays,
even though it's like
no way they'd have it
yes,
covered or something. Remember, this is
and
modern. This
they'd
is modern
and
day.
and and it, even though
They
it's
don't
a
they don't show that
corpse,
stuff. That stuff is
even though it's a
problematic now,
corpse,
man.
weirdly tried to like whatever, and then they'd have like the organs and stuff pulled halfway out and stuff. It'd just be gross and macabre and all that.
Hmm,
Um,
I don't know if
this
I
one, like
agree.
she told everyone to get out of the room before they did it to like respect the body, and then like the meta sort of like the scene doesn't really like show you the body that much either. It was just I don't know. I thought that the lack of like lingering shots on gratuity in terms of violence and gore and stuff, I thought was good. It's refreshing.
That I
Nowadays,
agree.
this movie
That
this
I
movie
agree
would have
with.
been like
I
hostile.
was when I was younger, I was worried how gratuitous it would be. Like I wasn't sure, And yeah, it was actually more tame than I thought it would be, but still messed up in its
And
own way. But
and
that's a
and
good
Trip,
thing.
I don't have a southern accent. That's
All right,
ridiculous.
all right. Let's refrain from talking to the chat, Pips.
All right, sorry. I just
So what do you think of the senator's daughter being kidnapped and being stuck in the well? Apparently there was a lot of serial, like, once again, when we brought up Ted Bundy, I forget the name of the
yeah.
serial killer. They actually built like a hole in his basement, but that was another thing. And of course, the whole sewing thing was a what do you call it? You've heard of Ed Gein, right? He was the inspiration for Psycho. He was the inspiration for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all the way up north of me, Wisconsin. Yeah, killed
I
two
have not
people. Yeah, killed two
I've not
women.
heard of it.
Yeah, his mother died. Skinned them. Made uh, gutted them basically, and yeah, he was caught, and he was literally insane the whole time. So, but like, I swear Ed Gein has been overly used as an inspiration for a lot of Hollywood, a lot of cinema's main antagonists. Um, but it was good to see. Well, I wouldn't say it was good to see, but it was interesting to see other serial killers being, well, I guess, represented. I know this is a horribly terrible thing to say, but yeah, because honestly, I don't know.
Hey,
I think we should.
representation matters. That's what they
That
tell us, right? Representation
was a
matters.
poor word. That was a poor word. I'm never gonna live this one up, am I? But the whole thing, like, yeah, this part here, every time I see this part where he tells the woman to rub the lotion on her skin or else she'll get the hose again. You know, I saw this. I don't know if I saw this first or Family Guy first, because I think it was season 1 of Family Guy where Stewie literally says the exact quote, and I never realized until recently that was the reference to this movie. I don't even remember what the Family Guy episode was about. I just remember first hearing it on Family Guy and then seeing this part. And then I remember when she holds the dog hostage,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I'm going to hurt your dog." He's like, you don't know what pain is," and all that stuff. Like, what did you think of Ted Levine's performance as Buffalo Bill?
He did great. There's a lot of, there's a few lines that he delivers that are like really iconic lines that get like quoted and sort of like um, kind of reformulated, memed from this. The put the lotion on the skin, else it gets the hose again, right?
Yeah.
The, forgive me for the language on your stream here, but would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. Like that line.
What did you think of that part? I was like, what? I'm watching this as a 14
Um,
year old. I'm like, what the hell is this? And he like like tucked, like,
yeah,
yeah, I said that word,
it was
tucked. He tucked
very.
tucked tucked tucked, tucked
That
his
scene was gratuitous.
dingling.
And you know what's crazy? Like this this
Boom,
movie
boom,
is
boom, boom, boom.
this movie is very transphobic. You would not be allowed to make this movie today.
Oh no, yeah, that was one thing that was I was looking up. Apparently, this movie was attacked for that, and
In '91,
yeah,
this
I don't
movie
know.
was attacked for
Wait,
transphobia in '91.
I don't
Man,
know if this was okay. All right. You know what? You got a good point. Let me find. I know this movie was attacked though.
I don't remember if this was attacked
Well, then hey,
right away.
good for the who is it? The foreign whatever journalists and media people vote for the Oscars. Good for them in the 90s for still giving best actor and stuff like that for this movie that was so transphobic. And
Oh yeah.
nowadays they absolutely wouldn't.
Oh no.
But then again, they don't this movie doesn't have the quotas that would be necessary to actually even be considered for Oscars, actually.
You know,
If
you
it was
might be
made if it was made today.
you might be right. Let me see. Oh no, this was. Oh no, no, you're right. This was recent. This was recent articles that were cited. So yeah, New York Times.
Yeah, of
Perfect.
course, the New York Times has nothing better to do in an
Nothing better to
election
do.
year than talk about a
Hmm.
movie from 1991 and talk about how it it you know
Because even in the movie they
accurately.
say,
I
even the
mean
movie they say,
terribly.
even in the movie they say, or I don't remember which character, but even in the movie they say that this is like it's transphobic or transsexual serial killer. They're like that's not a thing. They're the thing that they says they're docile. At least if I remember correctly. So,
Mhm.
hey, I mean they tried. Come on, give some credit at least. But yeah, hey, the big thing that you know what the
I mean,
big
if you think about it
motivation
this way,
was. The big motivation was let me finish my thought. We'll get to yours. Was that they wanted to do something that was against the formula at the time. They wanted to make a strong female character. 19 well this is 1991. I guess Terminator 2 wasn't out yet. No,
yeah,
Terminator 2 definitely wasn't out yet. It was out later that year, I think. This was early
hmm
91.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, how many movies had strong female characters besides, obviously Alien, obviously the original Terminator? I think at this point, maybe I don't know if I have not. I don't think I. It's been a long time since I've seen Thelma and Louise, but I don't know if they would be considered strong female characters.
I reject the idea of doing masculine things makes a female character strong. It makes it a masculine female character, which is a stupid formulation and phrase. But like, there's tons of strong female characters in media representations going back. I mean, Lady Macbeth is a strong female character. She's not a good character. You can argue that you don't like the representation that you get there, but Lady Macbeth is absolutely a strong female character. So the idea that there's not strong women in media has always been stupid. The only way that you make that argument is that they mean, well, there's not physically strong women. There's not women who are beating up men, and it's like, yeah, because the rest of us live on planet Earth. Like that's like you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you have Jodie Foster, who's like real, like she's like 5 foot tall, like she is like she walks on the screen with a bunch of the other FBI dudes, and they're all like they're all towering over her. So like there's that little vulnerability right there, and I think what works about this, and you could disagree, but I think because of the fact that she is a woman, it feels like the stakes have gone higher because of that. Because I mean, if she goes up against a man, she could be she could be at an extreme disadvantage and all that. So
No, you're talking about the showdown with Buffalo Bill in
the
his sort
buffalo,
of
well, that and any type of danger like that
yeah.
could be posed to her either from Hannibal Lecter or yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This actually brings up another criticism. Not criticism is too strong. A thought. They subverted my expectations. I'll put it that way. Um, in the showdown with Buffalo Bill, they didn't use the fact that they had that scene where she was doing training at the
Yeah.
academy,
Yes.
and they didn't use that in any way. Like, I expected one of two things to happen. I expected her to either, you know
I forget. Was
go
it
into a
like she
room
wasn't
and
checking like her?
she
I'm
didn't
trying
check
to
a corner. She
remember.
didn't
She
check a
wasn't check.
corner. She came straight in. She didn't look over her left corner and clear the corner of the room, right?
Yeah.
And so I expected she wasn't going to clear the corner of her room and she would get, jumped on. Or I expected that it would set up where he was waiting for her in that corner and she did check the corner because of the training and
Yeah.
then, blasts him, right? Um, so they
If I remember
subverted my
correctly,
expectations
I'll
there.
for all I remember, it was just he cocks the gun and then she just turns around and shoots him, basically.
Yeah, which was not again like the her and Buffalo Bill was not like my favorite part of the movie. Um, the stuff that I liked about it, I liked that Buffalo Bill was like the Minotaur's labyrinth. Is kind of like the feeling that I got there. Um, I liked, even though this is like very tropey sort of for modern media. I liked the simultaneous of them doing the raid on the empty house and the ringing the doorbell with the delivery guy, the
Yeah.
agent in disguise, right? And then her
Mm-hmm.
ringing the doorbell in his house.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's interesting, and like there's so many things that you see in media these days and you're like, oh, like Silence of the Lamb did that.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, Silence of the Lamb probably didn't invent all of the things that I noticed watching this movie either, right? Like it probably was pulling some of those ideas from previous stuff. The thing that this show I feel like probably gets the most credit for again is the like lingering long close-ups of the characters and the conversations. Like that is
This right here.
I mean,
This right here was used in another movie. I was trying to remember what movie this was used in, and I remembered.
what movie?
Hey, Pips, want to play a game? You know what I'm
See,
talking about?
movies, also movies that I
Remember,
haven't watched.
so at the very end of Saw, the big twist
Like I
was
said, I haven't watched any of the Saw movies.
all right. Well, I'll tell you. I saw this. I saw the first Saw in the theaters, so I got to see see a guy take a hacksaw and literally the guy from your bro from the Princess Bride, Dread Pirate Roberts himself, sawing off his own leg, Carrie Elwes.
Mm-hmm.
In that movie, it's him and Lee Wanell are stuck in a room, and they're chained to something, and so of course there's a dead body in the middle of that room. Well, the dead body was he had some sort of he had something covered on his face, and he takes it off, gets up, and leaves the room, and that's what it made me think of. I'm not sure if I think I saw this first, and then I saw, and I forgot about this.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw it in this. I was like, where have I seen that before? And I realized the first Saw movie had a Jigsaw himself. The main antagonist was the body in the room the entire time, and he gets up, takes the thing off of his face, the skin thing, and he leaves naked or something. Yeah. So, but yeah, saw that. I saw that here. I was just like, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I've seen, I'd probably seen 80% of this movie in pieces before, right? But even apart from like having seen most of this movie before, there's not a lot that is surprising to you watching this movie in 2024, right? Because so much of it has been done by other movies and TV shows and stuff like that. There's so many other things have played homages to this. So the thing that really still just stands out to me is the cinematography and the character acting. That is what makes this movie, I feel like, so special. Yeah.
It's violent. It's like this part. This was the most violent part of the movie. This part was freaking fantastic. Like this was great all around. Just playing the very innocent piano. I don't know if it was the innocent little piano sonata. He hears while he's beating the crap out of those policemen.
I'm surprised he killed this guard. I thought that he would have. I thought he would have, knocked him unconscious and left him alive. The reason being that he
Because
asked
they were
him to.
courteous. Because they were courteous to him.
He asked him to mind the portraits when he was putting the meal down, and he rolled them up and moved him out of the way and all that other stuff. And I thought that he
Spare
would
them.
leave that guard alive and just kill the other one because he needed to.
No, we.
And the other one was
it's
the one that was more rude to him as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Speaking of which, there was one character that he spared that he would not go after, and he's from a show that you bullied me into watching. Let me see, where is it? Where is he? There he is. There he is, Barney, who would become the future Captain Burrell. This is Baltimore, gentlemen. The gods won't save you here. Remember that? I think that's his most iconic line in that show.
I mean,
and he was also in Manhunter. He plays a different character, but he was also in Manhunter. He plays a cop, and then he was in Hannibal. I think he played the same character, Barney, in Hannibal. And he was the one character that showed
he was the Chief Burrell.
Yes, and he was good. He was and he was the one character that showed Hannibal Lecter respect and courtesy, and that's why Hannibal sent him a letter, like a letter wishing him well and all that. And he won't kill him, basically. So,
gosh, I loved the end.
Yes, I'm having a friend for dinner.
Okay, all right, we're jumping so much here. I'm missing some of the things that I wanted to say here. So let me.
Well, we already talked about the final battle. So what else is there? What else is there?
Dr. Chilton played a creep really, really well. I like how quickly they established how quickly and effortlessly they established his character as not being trustworthy and a creep. Where he compliments her on her looks and then asks her if she has ever been to Baltimore, and it's a fun town if you have the right guide, and you're like, sweet, so you're like a rapist. That's what your deal is, right? It was very much like he was gonna roofie her, and he was the same actor, Anthony Held, actually reprises this role in Red Dragon. But in Hannibal, Dr. Chilton is missing. Nobody knows what happened to him. He's gone. Apparently he made that dinner date with Hannibal. Hannibal had a friend for dinner. Yeah. So
at least did he say friend?
You did. Yeah.
He did say friend.
I'm having an old friend.
Old friend. Yeah. He thinks I'm his nemesis for some. He thinks I'm his nemesis for some reason. Well, I don't know about that. So
the first shocking thing of the movie, and I like it because it was you had Starling and you had Lecter doing their conversation. Again, the close up on the eyes and the distance between the two characters. All of the framing was always him, really, really close, very like in the camera, and then her from more of a distance, right?
Yeah.
At least, not literally every shot, but that was the impression that I get. A lot of these types of shots of him.
Oh, this is a great shot right here. This is
that is a great shot. The two of them together, but not together, right? Still distant, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's so good. But you have them talking, and then she's leaving the prison block, and there's that scene where Miggs gets her.
Oh yeah, right. So that's a very important part, because he tells her. Remember, he says right here, he does he's like, I had a census taker try to cross me once, and I had his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it, yeah,
about like that. Right there. I mean, nailed the pause. That's right there. He's gonna do the
yeah, like that. This is terrifying.
Gosh, look at I dissed her accent before. You almost had the throw there. I dissed the accent before with her, but her acting, the face was really good. She did the emoting. Oh
Oh,
man,
and
that was unexpected, shocking scene that you're just like, oh man,
yeah, he winked it off, and that's far. That's pretty far for that. So
I loved his line, something about like he's crazy, like even he
he,
can't like
I,
come
I,
again that
I can't
fast.
repeat what he says. He's like, I can smell your thing that rhymes with bunt. I'll say.
No. After this scene, when Hannibal calls her back and tells her to like leave, and it's like even he, isn't that fast. He's crazy, but he's not.
Yeah,
To like
and
get her
though
again,
so that he right here he feels bad because of how rudely she was treated, and this is why he's like, okay, fine, I'll help you. I'll help you get a promotion. Here, do this. He's like, go
Which
now,
then
go now,
leads,
go see somebody about go to a garage and see somebody about head. Okay, that's not what he says, but he's like, go to
yeah,
the
his old
uh
teacher.
old patient of his, basically. So
Um,
in the book, and I think in the book it's I think it's implied that Buffalo Bill kills the guy. The I forget the name of the guy. What's the guy's name?
I mean, they say that in the movie as well. That yeah,
In the book, in the book the head's a different guy. It's not the name of the guy that he gave him or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, apparently that's how he knew he was connected to Buffalo Bill. And that's how he knew, and that's how he was able to that's how he was able to help her, and that's how he was able to kind of wince his way, negotiate his way, and meet the senator. What do you think of that scene? What do you think of that scene where he meets the senator?
it was
Love
really
that
good.
suit.
Yeah,
Love that suit. Like just the eyes. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, no, this is a little too far.
yeah. In the mask, I do want to say before we go to that, just because we were talking about the previous scene there with the stuff with Miggs, um, the line where she tries to get him, she tries to kind of get under his skin a little bit and says, "Oh, that's the sort of thing that Miggs would say," and he just looks at her and says, "Not anymore." Um, was I think a level of like clever, like that's a level of good writing that you don't see anymore. That it was it was showing the tension between the two characters. It clearly had a motive on her part of trying to get under his skin because he cares
Yeah,
so much about, sort of decency, right? And so she was trying to put him off balance, and
yeah,
he, parried and sort of put her at a disadvantage of like, that I did this thing for you, and you feel guilty about about being happy about it. And it was, so it's multiple layers, and it's a really smart dialogue that took 3 seconds and really showed you the two characters. It showed like what was happening in the scene. um I don't know, that line really just stood out to me as something that like really showed how smart this screenplay is. I don't know if that stood out to anybody else, but I was really impressed by that line.
what
That
was
sort
the
of like
line?
back and forth.
What was the line again?
So he says something to try and kind of push her, right? I don't remember if it was about her career or something, and she says that's the sort of things that Miggs would have said,
Yeah, that I
or that
remember. I
Miggs
don't
would say,
remember the
and then he said not anymore.
not. Oh yeah. Oh well, yeah. Oh, this was in the so this was
The
in the
second
later
meeting,
scene when
yeah.
he basically I don't I it happens off screen, but he
He had
kills
mind
Meggs. He
fucked
tells
Miggs and gotten to kill himself.
to swallow his own tongue or something.
Yeah,
I don't know how you do that, but I guess you. I don't know.
that's just drove even more fear about
Nut.
Lecter, right?
Yeah. Oh, not so. He says not anymore. Oh, I'm thinking of a funny scene from the Pink Panther Strikes Again. You ever see that movie, Pips? Peter Sellers.
Not sure. Probably not.
Okay,
I'm
it's
not nearly. I'm not
there's a
nearly the
there's a
cinephile that
well.
you are.
I'm gonna go that. Well, you know what's funny is I saw those. I saw one of the movies on Channel 11, PBS, all the artsy fartsy movies like 2001. That's how I discovered a lot of these artsy fartsy movies. But yeah, that movie was supposed to be that movie. Basically, he just destroys everything in his wake, and he's in a house investigating, and he somehow destroys this family's Steinway piano. And the lady's like, "That was a priceless Steinway," and he's like, "Not anymore." And so when you said "not anymore," I immediately thought of that scene. So. It's funny. It's
Anyway,
funny. You have a room, Pips. You have a room. What'd you say? You have a room. Oh, do you have a room? That's what I've been saying, you idiots. You know that it's that type of humor. It's that type of humor. He's just Pierre Sellers does this mock French and you know everything. And there's
yeah,
I'll have to you
scene,
know I'll have to send I'll have to send you a Pink Panther movie.
I've watched
they're
Pink Panthers
crazy,
movies.
huh?
I just don't know that I've seen. I just don't know that I've seen that one.
That's the one where his boss becomes the supervillain, a James Bond-like supervillain, and it makes no sense whatsoever. But you know what? That's okay because these movies are not meant to make sense. Basically, I don't know. But was there anything else to talk about with this? I'm trying to. Oh,
We're talking about the scene with the senator and him, which was another great scene with his sort of facial expressions, Chilton being scum. I kind of I like what they did with the pen, where you saw the pen on the table, then he's checking his pocket for the pen and borrows somebody else's, and then he has the pen, the ink kind of stick in it to pick his lock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious how he got the pen, because in the scene where he's looking at the pen, he's already straitjacketed like this and like hooked up to a cart, and the pen is on a table like a few feet away.
Mm-hmm.
So like they set it up, but it left questions.
Yeah.
The nice suit comment was pretty great though.
I'm trying to remember exactly. He's like, did you nursemaid your daughter? Did
you nurse her? Yeah.
I'm trying to remember exactly what he said.
Just
oh man,
talking about which part of you is going to tingle when you stand over her body on the table, like, and just titillating sort of puerile dialogue.
Oh man.
Right? Like, I say it again. I don't think this scene wouldn't work well. It wouldn't be the same if not for those like white blue eyes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's why I keep the glasses on, for your protection.
I forgot. Did you breastfeed her?
Can't have you guys knowing that I'm a serial killer. It's all in the eyes.
Tough in your nipple. Wow. I forgot about this. This is great. This is great stuff.
So apparently you can hear the audio when you play it here. I can't. But
you can't?
No.
That's good because
for copyright takedowns. Gosh, Chilton is
amputate a man's leg and he can still feel it. Yeah, it's phantom pain.
Yep.
When your little girl's on the slab, where will it take? Oh man, dude, get that thing out of here.
Yeah.
I loved. Yeah, I thought it was a great scene too, and I like the scene right here, her final scene with Lecter right here, where she goes and talks about her childhood trauma and everything. This is not the quid pro quo. I don't think this is the quid pro quo scene. No, it's not. I think that's the scene before the whatever. I liked how he brings up like what drives, like I don't forget how he ask the question. Maybe you remember. You got better memory than I do. What makes him what he is, or something? He's like, oh, he kills people. He's like, no, incidental.
Cuts. Yeah.
What does he do? He covets. How does he covet? By whatever he experiences around him, basically. So whatever he sees, and that's kind of how that was the clue, I guess, that she uses, and then and then she goes into the whole, and then she goes into the whole. I heard lambs, and they screamed, and I went and rescued one, and I tried to run away with a lamb. They caught me, and they killed the lamb, and I got kicked out, basically. And so I'm doing this. I'm saving the senator's daughter. So I stop hearing the lambs. I want the silence of the lambs. At least they didn't say the silence of the lambs. At least I don't think they did.
Nowadays they would have.
Yeah, like freaking the Rings of Power. They said Lord of the Rings like 3 times in that last season. I don't even know why I even bothered watching. I watched it so I could have a conversation with Feanor, but that's a story for another. That's check out last week's Showporial.
Was it worth the lost brain cells?
You know what? I mean, it was my best Showporial in a long time, basically. Good views, decent likes, it was a good. Yeah. Feanor's popular on X. He just retweeted, he gets like, so I got a whole bunch of people I never seen before. So yeah.
Meanwhile, when Pips comes on, there's 2 people in the comments. They're all saying, "Screw you for having this guy on,"
Or Brian, who the heck are you? Everybody, yeah. You're washed up, Brian. I don't know, but not. But yeah, this was what's up, Jacob? Yeah, the Chianti. I don't know if I've ever had a Chianti. Have you ever had a Chianti? I've never had a Chianti.
Yeah.
If
it's an alcohol, I've had
it. Is it one of those sweeter wines or something? It's a red, right? I think.
I mean, it's mostly. I think it's mostly characterized by being kind of light rather than sweet. But
so what's the difference between lights? You have sweet, you have light, you have dry. So it is a red.
What is the difference between sweet, light, and dry?
No.
Well, I mean,
like
sweet,
it seems like light and
obvious, right? Dry is generally about tannins. So people often say that a dry wine is a little more tannins. So that sort of like the dry feel on the tongue has to do with the tannins in the wine.
I don't even know what that is. What's a tannin?
What's
a tannin? What's a tannin, dude? You know what a tannin is? What is it? Educate me. Because I have no idea what you're talking about.
What is one? I mean, it's a byproduct of it's a thing that is in grapes. It comes mostly from the skins, I think.
It is grape skins. Let me see.
But
that's the beauty of
it is. I don't know. It's an antioxidant or something like that. I don't know.
I know enough to remember it.
It's the like I said, this from the skins of the grapes. That gives that astringent, like dry
Phenolics.
tongue feel.
A dry what?
Tongue feel, like
a tongue feel.
Yeah, like if you drink a really dry, tanniny wine, your tongue feels almost like it's dry. I mean, like it gets this like. Yeah, I can't describe it any other way. Like,
okay, fine, whatever. I think we kind of I already derailed this. I already derailed this stream right here.
I think Chianti's mostly light, a little on the sweeter side, and then thanks Trip.
Thanks
exactly,
Trip.
Exactly correct. But it's not tanniny. So. There you go. There's Pips. I'm not a wine aficionado. I mean, I
definitely drink it more than I do.
Well, I mean, I have a reputation to uphold here.
There's a wine there. That's true. There is a wine I do want to recommend you. It's the Pennywise wine. Here, it makes you float. It makes you float, bro. Pennywise wine makes you float. Everybody that drinks it floats down there in the sewers of Maine. Oh well. I don't want to bring up any more Stephen King than I have to.
As I say, also a movie and book that I've never read the book, never watched any of the movies.
I like the book, other than that infamous scene everybody talks about.
People who are watching this for your serial horror section are gonna be like, why do you bring this guy on who doesn't know anything about horror movies and doesn't like horror movies, and you like throw in a random like suspense thriller movie in your horror movie sort of section, and like, what are you doing? Like, that's you're gonna be very disappointed.
That's a good question. Like, I literally, like, even though it's almost impossible to bully Pips because he's like this tall, and like, well, actually, I think we're the same weight. Actually, I think I still weigh more.
I know that it's it. I mentioned that I hadn't read or seen it. Yeah.
Honestly, it's not the scariest. It's not the scariest Stephen King book I've read. I think the scariest book I've read was Salem's Lot. That one was terrifying.
I am aware that Stephen King is a writer. I've heard that he's not very good.
Well, I've enjoyed his stuff.
And by not very good, I mean like as a
can't really end stuff. But no, he's actually pretty detailed. I mean, he's not Robert Jordan level detailed, but he's pretty detailed, and he has some really good characters.
I've just heard that there's a fair number of jokes about like Stephen King will say something about like AI shouldn't be writing or whatever, and people would be like from the author who seems like most of his books were probably written by early generation AI.
Mm-hmm.
So at least the comments section doesn't seem to think that Stephen King is very good at writing. I know Tripp is a big fan of Stephen King, so she'll probably say how wrong I am. But
I don't know. I mean, I like his. I mean, I liked a lot of the books I read. I like The Stand quite a bit. Wasn't really happy with the. I wasn't really happy with the Hand of God part, the climax, but that was just me. My friend gave me a lot of crap for that. He's like, "Oh, it was built up to it." I was like, "I don't know." It was an equivalent thing with me and Wheel of Time. I was expecting something else. So go figure.
Well, we have another stream for us to destroy our friendship over on your bad takes on the Wheel of Time. So there's no reason to bring that into this stream.
By the way, I did finish chapter 5. It took me several days to finish chapter 5, but I finished chapter 5 with Matt and the Red Hand and dancing and marching and more marching and more marching formations, and
yeah, it's great.
And
you're talking to a Marine.
The
here.
best
Everything
part
thing in the whole world. Your formations and marching, like, fuck yeah, man, let's do it.
Yeah, but what were they marching for? Oh wait. Who
cares?
Yeah, Samael. Yeah,
just crisp uniforms, just tight formations.
The best part of that chapter was when he was doing this thing called reflecting. He was thinking about something, and you see it in a different font. I know, right? And Rand just appears to him. In his room, his bedroom. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't be comfortable either. I wouldn't be comfortable. That was honestly, that was the best part of that chapter. They had an Oliver making his appearance. You talk to me, Pips. You talk to me. So I actually like that. I actually like those parts of the book of the chapter. But the rest of it, sorry. We won't argue. I told myself I won't argue with the Pips or everybody else. Hey, you guys totally destroyed me the other day, so you should be like, in my face about it. So, because a lot of the stuff that was a lot of stuff that was in the back of my head that just got
Who
sent to the
who
front.
totally destroyed you? Who totally destroyed you? I mean,
Probably,
Steve.
no, it was Steve and Nate,
Steve had some harsh
Nathan,
words.
Steve, Nathan, you joined in. Dane was actually the Dane and Alan were actually pretty. They didn't say nearly as much, but yeah, you three piled on me, and you know what?
I said
And you know what?
nothing except the truth.
But no, I'm not mad. You guys had some really good points. I was actually listening, so I was actually.
You know,
It was,
I will
but
say,
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, and I don't know if this might not apply to you, but I sometimes will fall into that trap where I will try my hardest to defend my position to the point where I will get irrational. Like it's a dangerous like rabbit hole to get into. So I made sure not to do that. At least I tried not to. At least I hope I didn't. Hope I didn't come off as mean.
no. I mean, I understood your position. I disagreed with your positions. But we're talking about a conversation that was, that nobody watching the stream was a participant in. So we're gonna bring it back to
Silence of the Lambs.
These piercing eyes.
Yeah. How many times have I derailed the stream now? I must have derailed the stream like a billion times already.
Yeah, you normally have notes so that you don't do this.
Yeah, I don't.
This is what happens. He invites me on, and he doesn't take it seriously, guys. Like he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna have this Pips guy on. He's not important. Like, it doesn't even matter.
You know what I'm gonna.
He just drinks heavily, and then he blames me. He blames me. He'll come over here. You were happy. You were so
bourbon,
happy. And then he'll be like, drunk pour is not a thing. It's a myth.
You were so proud of yourself that you were bringing all these bad habits into my life. First it was this, then you saw me smoking a cigar New Year's Eve with a friend. You're like, oh, I did that to him too. Or when are we gonna do that? So yeah.
It's not me. I mean, Winston Churchill said that he can't trust a man with no vices because he doesn't trust himself. And so
I've heard that.
I mean,
when did he say that? Did he say that? Like, when did he say that? When he was prime minister or before that?
I don't know. Who knows? He may never even have said it. Maybe
Pips, you're the. I mean,
Churchill,
other than Ryan
Michael
Roger
Scott.
Atha, you're a student of history too. You talk history quite a bit on the band of the Red Hand. You should know. I'm asking you. I'm putting you on blast, bro.
I mean, I've only read like one biography of Churchill, so I couldn't tell you
only one.
Possibly
he read only one. Everybody remember
possibly attributed, and it was early. It was about him fighting in like the Boer Wars and stuff like that in South Africa.
He was part of that. I didn't know about that. Interesting.
He had a very interesting life. I would highly recommend that people look up Winston Churchill's sort of life. Pretty interesting guy. Much maligned by certain people these days, often unfairly. But very interesting guy.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll keep that in mind. But
let's see.
Is there any other points? Any other points in the movie? Like, did you like the whole like they figured out where Bill was because of the butterflies that he was using, like those special. They determined that he was using these specially bred butterflies or moths or whatever.
Okay, so I had a couple questions about this movie, right? So. One,
okay,
specifically about Buffalo Bill, right? One, when we first see Buffalo Bill kidnap the senator's daughter, whatever her name was, who cares?
Who cares?
We see him donning his like night vision goggles, which I did wonder. Side note, I wondered at the realism of those night vision goggles. I know what like current night vision goggles look like. Not very much like that. that seemed like a movie prop night vision goggle, and I was kind of laughing at them not having like sort of real night vision goggles. I don't know. But anyway, so you see him, he's like night vision goggles and watching her. And then, well, he's also the homeless guy, right? So he's there, right? Watching her park. And so, like, from that vantage, it makes it makes it seem like he's in the bushes watching her. And then she gets kidnapped by like a separate person from the one that's got the goggles on. Is like how this scene kind of reads, which was odd. So that I thought that was weird. And then how did the false trail get laid for the other FBI agents with the guy and the moths and them going to the wrong house? Like,
I don't know, honestly. You know where they went?
Lecter
They went to
couldn't have known.
Hammond. They were by me, bro. They went to Hammond, Indiana. They thought he was in Hammond, Indiana. That's where you go to gamble and lose all your money, and see washed up rock stars, basically. Horseshoe Casino, the highlight of Hammond, Indiana. But wait, what were you saying? Sorry.
I was just saying that Lecter wouldn't have known about this random guy who ordered some foreign moths, right? And so like him giving a physical description that matched this guy who ordered some moths and them going to the wrong house, like didn't seem plausible. And it certainly, like, Buffalo Bill couldn't have laid that as a false trail, because how and or why, and like what we see of him in his house, he's not the guy laying false trails, a state over with, some extra house that nobody's living in. You know what I mean? Like that's not happening. So it just the whole setup of the cops being at the wrong location was just like, in hindsight, you're like, okay, how did that happen? Similar to the how did Hannibal get the pen to get out of the cuffs later. I saw the breadcrumbs that they were laying out, but I don't actually think that it was believable. Like, I don't actually think that those things could actually align in that way in an actual causal sort of relationship. So those are my sort of weird musings on the more negative side, in addition to all of the positive things that I've had to say about the movie. Ooh, I liked we meet Buffalo Bill, and in addition to this movie being transphobic, it's very fat phobic. She's like, oh, I'm looking for this girl that was looking into the death of this girl, and he was like, I can't remember that name, and he's like, oh, was she a great big old fat person? And you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
you couldn't say that this day.
So was that address? So you got me thinking now. Was that address given by the bug, by the fact that they identified the bug or the moth?
Yes.
Everything.
So it was a customs report on a guy who had ordered these moths.
Yeah.
And the physical description that Lecter gave, the two matched. So Lecter gave him a physical description, and like it was a former patient's like friend or something like that. So
boyfriend.
Like, weird connection there.
Boyfriend.
And then the moths.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe you could say that like Lecter just happened to know another, like tangentially, he just knew another guy that happened to also be into these moths.
The whole idea of when Hannibal killed the guy, and the guy was hanging there like he was a moth in a way, like a dead moth. Is that coincidence?
I thought that was So I thought that when you looked at it through the door, again, like the glass or the fog, whatever was making that effect, I thought it was more like an angelic scene. So like a crucifix or like angel wings or something like that was kind of what it looked like. And then when you went into the room and they saw it, it looked more like a biology lab dissection, where like you cut it open, you pull the skin back, you pin the skin in place, um, even though that's actually just like bunting, right? But it looks like the flesh being pinned out to the sides and whatever. Um, I didn't think of the moth.
Yeah, I don't know the whole winged thing right there. I don't know, just kind of made me
It's a
think of that.
bird. It's a plane.
Yeah, so I don't know. No angels.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then we got to see this. We got to see that part, and yeah, everybody's. Yeah, I mean, I think we covered the whole movie. It's been almost an hour and a half. So, do you like it
Yeah, we pretty much. I mean, yes, yeah, I liked
overall?
it. I a
No
couple
movie's
little
perfect,
quibbles
Pips.
about
No
things.
movie's
That
perfect.
guy's mustache is probably the largest sin of this movie. If I was cinema sins, I don't know how many cinema sins I would add to the movie for that guy's mustache, but like a lot. Um,
Have you tried that before the mustache?
no, no, I don't. I don't generally get away with the mustache. The Mrs. Pips is she likes the beard. This is about as long as I actually get to grow it. So, because I have to shave it again here in about another week. So,
Doing doing some marine duty.
yep, gonna go do some choppering, flying around. So,
You doing any PT stuff? I was
what do you
curious.
mean?
Physical, you have to do your PT, don't you? Of course you
Yeah,
do.
but but do you mean physical therapy or physical training?
Physical
Which
training.
PT? Oh, okay, yeah.
No, physical
I have to.
therapy because you're old fart.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do. I do physical therapy. It's you get old, things break. You gotta fix things up.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
you're military, so I mean that happens. So yeah, sorry, man.
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're dealing with a
Like
crap ton of stress. But I was curious. I'm curious if when you're doing PT at the base, do you run like around like a forest, or do you just run around like a track or something? Or
okay,
I'm
so what's
curious.
actually funny about this, and I was kind of wondering about this when they filmed this, right? Um, so if they went to Quantico, Virginia, which is the FBI headquarters and where the FBI Academy is,
Hmm.
then it's actually Quantico, Virginia is where the Marine Corps does training as well. There's a large Marine Corps base in Quantico, Virginia. It's where the
Hmm.
Marine Corps headquarters is, and it's where the officer training happens in Quantico, Virginia.
Hmm.
And there actually is an obstacle course and an endurance course. The endurance course goes through the woods and has a lot of similar obstacles to what you saw right there. So
Hmm.
it's very possible that this was actually filmed on location in Quantico, Virginia, at
Oh
the
yeah,
Marine
no,
Corps.
it's confirmed. They actually were
Yeah,
at Quantico
at
the entire
so at
time.
the Marine Corps endurance or obstacle course. It's possible that it was filmed there because this looks very similar to something that I may have done at one time.
So you've been here. You've been to Quantico.
Yes.
If you can say it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, so that's the basic school. So all officers in the Marine Corps spend at a minimum 6 months going through the basic school in Quantico, Virginia.
Hmm. Is that like the main base, basically?
No, not really. I mean, it's sometimes called the crossroads of the Marine Corps, that everybody's career ends up, sort of going back through there at some point.
Hmm.
Um, but no, it's relatively small as Marine bases go.
I see. I hear the training for officers is different than for enlistees. Like it's like you have to. It's basically like they want you to quit or something like that. Is that true? Or they're trying to get you to quit or something?
No, I wouldn't say that. No.
So it's not like special forces where they want you to ring the bell and give up, and all that. Okay.
I mean, I don't think even special forces they don't want you to quit. They want anyone who wants to quit, which is like a fine line. But the difference really, so the special forces things that you're thinking of, so that's a screening process, not really a school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and that would be similar to other things that both enlisted and officers go through at various points in their career. But the basic school is not a screener. You have already gone through your various screener and gotten your commission. And so at that point, the idea is not to try and get you to quit. So it doesn't have that purpose. There are other things in the process that maybe do more have that purpose. So, but they would just be earlier in the process.
Oh, I see.
If that makes sense, right? Like
Not
you
really, but then again, I'm a
you,
dumb civilian that doesn't know crap. So
well, I mean,
you're
I'll
the
put it
first
this way,
officer
right?
I met. You're the first officer I know. So
I put it this way, like the guy who's fresh out of just graduated college and is joining the Marine Corps as wants to be a commissioned officer, goes through either 10 or 12 weeks depending on which program he does. It's either 2 6 weeks training periods, one done over 2 years. So they go for 6 weeks and then they come back again a year later and they go for another 6 weeks, or they do 10 years or 10 weeks straight altogether.
mm-hmm.
So you go through that prior to getting your commission, right? And that process is a screening process. That one they do, like, hey, if you're not tough enough to be here, and if you don't want to be here enough, then like get the hell out. There's another guy in line behind you. But once you've already gotten through that process and you've already gotten your commission, then you go to the basic school. And so the basic school is saying, hey, you've already been through that process. You've already gotten your commission. Now we're going to train you. It would make no sense really to like, hey, we already helped, like we already, paid for a bunch of schooling for you. We already gave you your contract, commissioned you, and now we're going to try and kick you out. Like that wouldn't make any sense. So they try and kick people out early in the process. And then after you get past that, then,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense. So,
yeah.
So yeah, I can't think of really anything else to add to this except that this is still an awesome movie. It's still makes me, maybe now I'll finally actually finish the whole Hannibal Lecter franchise, if you can call it.
It really made
that.
me want to watch all of them in order. Like it made me want to watch all of them in order. Yeah.
So yeah, I got through Manhunter. So yeah, I'll rewatch Hannibal. I haven't watched that since the only thing I remember from that movie. You haven't seen Hannibal, so I don't want to spoil it then. Let's just say there were something involved with brains. Something involved with brains. And yeah. Nowhere near as good. See, like this movie had a happy ending. Hannibal didn't. I don't even know what to call that ending. That movie's ending. Like it wasn't really happy. It was just, I don't know. And then if you're familiar with the novel is even weirder. Like they get married. Her and Hannibal get married or something. It's weird. I'm not or something like that. Or they fall in love somehow. But that's in the novel. That's not in the film. So
I mean, I can see that. Women are always thinking that they can change them.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're very, very, very. They love serial killers. I mean, there you have the Night Stalker dude. I can't think of his name. The Night Stalker dude. They liked him. He was handsome. There, Charles Manson got conjugal visits quite a bit. He had his fans.
Yeah.
His family.
Trip is complaining in the comment section, but she knows that this is correct. This is an established fact that girls are always they get with a guy thinking, I can change him. Guys get with a girl thinking she'll never change, and both of them are wrong. Both of them are wrong, but only one of them was lying. That's the way the story goes.
Well, good luck changing somebody.
And Trip, you can bite me.
Yeah, but yeah, get somebody to change. It's like you need to move a mountain or something.
No.
Isn't something heavier than a mountain? Oh yeah, wait, Wheel of Time. Never mind.
Yeah, duty. Duty is heavier than a mountain.
You said duty. All right, whatever. Yeah, that was dumb. So Pips, thanks for that's how we know it's the end. So for everybody, I did make a funny little video of Pips's badassery. So he has taken on a iconic horror villain and destroyed him off screen, but yeah, there's lore behind that. So the entire time, his wife and child were sound asleep. Like they did not have a care in the world. They knew
the gunshot didn't.
They had no worry whatsoever. They knew they knew that that our friend below me is the baddest ass of all time. And yes, I made sure that gun sound effect was a carbine, just so that it was because you have a carbine. I shot your gun. Okay, that sounded weird. Okay, that sounded very weird.
Yeah, everyone knows this is my rifle. This is my gun. This one's for fighting.
You had a carbine. You had a rifle.
You shot my rifle.
No, I shot your carbine. I didn't shot your
yeah, which is a rifle.
We had if we would have done the rifle. I remember you telling me this when we went to the range. We would have had to go to a different place, right? We would have to go to a different.
The only
for the
issue
rifle
there was well, I mean, we would have just had to walk down like a little bit to a different range. It wouldn't. Yeah, that wouldn't have been an issue. I just hadn't zeroized that rifle in a while, and so I was like, it wouldn't be a lot of fun to go and like, all right, we're gonna spend 30 minutes zeroizing the scope on this thing and getting it set up, and then we'll take you, and then you can take some shots with it. Like, we'll just go plink with some iron sights, have a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah.
And for those
Pips
of you
Pips is an
that are
official.
worried,
He's an official marksman. He's got like dozens of medals saying that he's a marksman. So yeah. It's
First of all, marksman is actually the lowest qualification you can get in the Marine Corps, so that's insulting.
Well, I
will
mean,
have you know that I am a qualified expert.
Is that how high is that? Is that higher than is that one level higher than a marksman?
We qualify. Marksman means that you passed. And then sharpshooter is the sort of middle, and then expert is the highest qualification, and then you get multiple awards of expert. So I've got multiple awards of expert, but yeah.
Okay.
And hey, Nerdporial did good. I taught him his rules of weapon safety. We shot the pistol. We shot the. It was an M1 carbine, which was actually my grandfather's service rifle. So you got to shoot that. It was good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing that. Did learn quite a bit. And yeah, it just makes me appreciate, like, just, sometimes, it's possible to handle things that could, if you are not careful, can hurt you or hurt others. So yeah, yeah. I was nervous, but then again, that's because the city, this you know where
You
I'm
city
from.
kids.
I'm
You
I'm a
city
city
kids, man.
guy. Family is very. I'm sure you can guess what politically my family is, because I'm in Chicago. So
He did. Everyone should know. He did try and turn the gun sideways. He tried to turn the pistol sideways, because he's from the city and he like understood that that's how you do it.
dude, if I would
And
have done that, you would
I had
have.
to explain to him. I had to explain to him that that's not how you do that.
You,
That's
yeah, and the pit man here put me through drills. So he was literally like a commanding officer, and I was the
I taught you the basics just so you wouldn't shoot your foot off, and so we could have a good time at the
and
range
you told
and
me to load
do
the
some
gun,
shooting.
and you told me to load the gun faster. Yeah, I remember. I didn't forget that. I didn't forget that. So, but yeah, no, he
I
was he
might
was
have
saying
I
he was
might have
saying that
given
in
you
good
a
fun. He was saying that in good fun. So yeah,
while he was there. I might have done a keep firing, assholes.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Might have done that. Might have
Well,
done
I
that.
mean, you have to remember, Pips is a major asshole.
As yeah,
What?
among other qualifications and lofty designations.
Mm-hmm. At least that's what I thought. So I thought so.
Yeah.
What's funny is I'm actually doing pretty good. I've had plenty of this. I'm doing pretty good. It's just, we ordered pizza, so there's some pizza in the kitchen. I'm probably going to eat some to soak some of this up, and then I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. I've been doing since last week. So tomorrow's going to be day 9. I've been doing the 1 meal a day thing, trying to drop the weight. So I've been doing the
Okay.
1 meal a day thing. So, and I'm used to it now. I don't like, I was able to resist someone bringing in donuts. I was able to
There you go.
resist the donuts and everything. You know how hard it is to resist the donuts and the bagels and the fruit and the fresh fruit. And
Well, fresh fruit you don't need to
and
resist. Why would you resist? Why would you resist fresh fruit?
yeah, exactly. Pineapple, your strawberries, like, that's delicious. That's like heaven on
Yeah, but
earth right there.
that's also that's good for you. That's healthy. As
Yeah.
you should eat that fresh fruit. That's yeah.
Yeah. But I don't want to raise my my insulin levels, so I'm trying. So I am doing so I don't eat until after 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock when I come home. So, and you know what? I'm used to it.
Huh.
I'm used to it. And you know what? Feels good. Feels good. Hopefully, I'll finally have a jawline. I'll be. Maybe I'll be able to get, once I did get out of my gym membership. I got to find a new gym. Figure out how I can.
How are the how were the pull up efforts going?
Well, I mean, it's on hold. It's on hold for now.
Okay.
So right now my main
I
exercise is, if I feel like it, I'll lift some dumbbells. I was probably gonna go get some additional. I've been meaning to go to the sports store and get some additional equipment or something.
I use my son as a dumbbell to do goblet squats, and then I do push-ups, which he's very.
So what exactly
he's
is
very,
what's exactly a goblet squat? Is that where you have
normally
your hands out,
normally it's a
or?
dumbbell, and you hold the dumbbell like a chalice. So like the plates are sort of stacked, so you hold the dumbbell like this, um,
Okay.
which somebody's probably going to try and clip this video here.
No, nobody's gonna clip this. Believe me.
So a goblet squat, yeah, you hold it out in front of you like you were going to drink from the dumbbell, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
something
I
like
hold,
like
I
this,
hold
like
my
this
son.
right here. This is only 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you just do a squat. So you stand up, squat down low. Yeah.
I've been thinking about getting
so
kettlebell. I was thinking about getting kettlebell. No.
yeah, you can do the kettlebell. But anyway, I use my son and because he's over 30 pounds because he's a massive baby. And then I do push-ups that
He's
is
over
super
30
interested
pounds. No
in.
way, dude. No way.
Yeah, he's 31 and a half pounds. He's
Nope.
yeah. Um,
Damn, I was
and
gonna say, yeah, never mind.
he's in
Is he
in
walking
size.
already? Is he walking already?
He is. I think
He's
still
walking, isn't he?
far enough away from walking that he'll probably walk while I'm gone, which
I
will
was
suck.
I was walking in
but
10 months. I don't
well,
think I
he's
was
only
30.
9 months. He's only 9 months. So
Yeah. I started walking at 10
um,
months, but I don't think I weighed I think I weighed 40.
he's definitely got to struggle to move that bulk around, but he's doing pretty well. He's he's walking with support, but
Mhm.
with the support,
Yeah.
But anyway, so I do the push-ups that he loves because he likes to come investigate what I'm doing, and will try and crawl underneath me while I'm doing push-ups. So I play a game where when he's sitting somewhere, I'll go to like the other side of the room and I'll try and do as many push-ups as I can before he can come over.
Was part of the PT or no?
No, not for the Marine Corps at least.
Because isn't like usually you have to do
I-
at least 50. You have to be able to do 50 or something. Is that still the standard for most military?
I don't know what it is for when I was doing Navy fitness standards years ago. The maximum score was 101. I don't know what the minimum was.
The most I ever did was when I was 23. I did 60 once. That was when I was running miles.
The thing with push-ups is really that, like, when someone says how many push-ups they can do, the question is always like, well, what kind of push-ups are you doing? Because if someone's over there and they're doing the ones where they're like, kind of doing this little thing where like they're moving their arms like 6 inches, or they're like sagging they're sagging down.
I used to do them with
crazy.
my arms kind of like flared out like this, and they're like, oh, and I watch videos online. They're like, no, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to bend them in instead of flaring them out like that. So
45
I don't know.
Is a 45-degree angle is what you want to do, but I mean, yeah. So it's I remember there was a video of like Mark Wahlberg was on some TV show. I think it was like the Ellen DeGeneres show or something like that. And they were like, oh, how many pull-ups can Mark Wahlberg do? And of course they had like a pull-up bar. And so he was like, oh, I'm going to do all these pull-ups. He's like, I can do like 30 pull-ups. And it's like very, very few people can do 30 pull-ups if they're doing legitimate pull-ups, right? And he definitely was not. He was he was doing kind of like this instead of all the way down to full extension, and like really locking out and coming all the way up.
Yeah, that's
and so push-ups and pull-ups are the same thing. So it's not about the number. The point that I'm making is not about the number. The thing with doing those types of exercises is, if you're doing it, you should push yourself to do as good a form as you can do, and then as many as you can do, right? And like, don't even, I mean, like, for a lot of people who are just starting, like, don't even count them. Like, just do as deep as you can and lock out all the way. And especially if you can go down really slow and then push up, and like, just don't even count them. Like, the number doesn't matter. What matters is that you go until you can't do anymore. Like, you go to failure. Like, that's what matters.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I do. It's because I'm getting older. I haven't done nearly as much. I used to do like at least 30 to 35 when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. Now the last time I did, I think I was able to get up to like 28 or something. I think that was the most. So yeah, I'm
Trip is giving me shit, saying that apparently I'm my ego is getting involved in this. That's not what
no. We're having a legitimate conversation. This is basically continuation of the fitness and
Trip needs to
the
drop
fitness,
and give me 20.
The fitness and what do you call it? The fitness channel and the Band of the Red Hand, which I'm barely ever on because I just don't have time. Just don't have time to come by. I don't even post my videos anymore. It's just
what I was saying was that the only workouts I do now is like I said, I do push-ups with little baby Pips, and then when I take him to the park,
What kind
after we're
of
done,
push-ups do you say you do? Do you do like the normal, just shoulder
yeah,
length?
just slightly wider than shoulder, and just chest all the way to the ground, all the way up. Yeah.
You don't. I always. I mean, I always thought you had to be like at least a fist length or fist distance from the ground. So you're
deeper the
just
better.
literally okay.
Like, um,
You do
it's
do you
it's
do it
all.
where you're elevated, where your feet are elevated, so the way you get the
I
bigger the bigger.
sometimes do this. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, no, I'll put my feet
Of course you do.
up on like the stairs or something like that, and I'll do this. But and then I take him to the park. I'll push him on the swing, and then we'll climb. He'll climb around on the stuff. And before we leave, I'll use the jungle gym, and I'll do a set of pull ups, and then we'll walk back. So
I got a question
just
for you.
getting my
I know we're not. I
high
know
power.
it's been a while since we talked Silence of the Lambs, but I've been meaning to ask you. You've been able to do pips all not pips. Sorry, I'm getting the drink is talking. Pull ups. You've been able to do pull ups. I mean, you've been an athlete all your life, so have you've been able to do pull ups probably for a long time, right? Or did you actually have to learn how to pull up or something?
So
Because I knew a lot of
oh,
kids when I was growing up. They were because
mhm,
they were skinny. They were able to do pull-ups really easily. Where I was a heavier kid. I couldn't do
yeah.
them.
Um,
Did you have to learn, or were you just able to do them because you were?
I mean, I'll say I probably by the time that I started doing them, I could do like a couple. So like when I first was doing pull ups, like I guess maybe in high school I might have done some. I don't remember doing pull ups in high school, but I'm sure like maybe high school gym class or whatever. Like maybe you had to do pull ups or something like that.
Didn't you have to do it for
The
like you said
first the
you swim, right? So didn't you have to do it for swimming
Yeah.
or anything?
High school swimming, we didn't do like weightlifting and stuff like that. You just swam a lot.
Oh,
So when I was a freshman in college, I rode crew, um, and that was the first time that I remember doing pull ups. And like when I had to do them, like the start of every crew practice, we had to do warm ups, and we had to do um, they had a PVC pipes. They had PVC pipes of different lengths that were full of concrete,
yeah.
and so you'd hold the pipe over your head and you'd do walking lunges, and then you'd go do a bunch of pull ups. And it was just as a warm up before practice, everyone would just do, like, hey, you had to go down and back a couple times on the walking lunges, and then as many pull ups as you could. And then you'd like stretch while the coach told us, like, hey, what the workout was going to be today. And you'd go get the boats, go out. Um, and so that's the first time I can remember doing pull ups. And like, I couldn't do tons of them, but like I could do a couple.
Were you recruited onto the team, or did you seek it out?
No, Trip and maybe other people in the comment section will laugh about this because they absolutely played my ego, my 18-year-old me ego. So you'll appreciate this story. Um, I played water polo in high school, and I was walking around on campus like early. They were doing like club fairs and sports weeks and stuff like that, like getting people to be active in campus life as freshmen or whatever. And I had a T-shirt on that was a water polo conference championship T-shirt. Um, and this guy, was like, he's like, oh, I see your T-shirt there. He's like, you look kind of small for a water polo player. And it's like, but you probably wouldn't be into it, but like if you want to, we're doing rowing
Somebody
practice. I
called
don't
you
know.
small. Somebody called
And
you small. Really? Somebody called you small, dude? You're 7 inches taller than me. You're
and
taller than You're taller than Sean
and that
Connery.
had that had the desired effect of I showed up for the crew tryouts, and they I said they played me like a fiddle.
That's
So
pretty cool. Oh, you were a water polo champion. That's pretty cool, man.
I mean, not a well. I mean, I was a conference champion, but like, I mean, that's
How
I
far?
didn't win states or something like that.
Oh, was that like city or?
No, so we had city. Well, actually, you know what? Now that I think of it, I was a conference and county, I guess. Um, so conference was like city. County was city plus some of the stuff. So
Yeah.
we had like 7 high schools in our conference, and then maybe like 10 or 12 in the county, and then we didn't even go to like state or anything like that for water polo. I went to no, actually, yeah, I never went past any of the like regionals for high school sports, but I mean California is a very competitive swimming and water polo state, so
That sounds about right. Yeah. So it's 2 hours, and I gotta go to bed. And Pips, thanks for doing this. Thanks for putting up with me bullying you into doing doing the serial horror. I'll do
no,
serial
thanks
horror.
thanks for having me on. This was fun. One
Yeah,
of us probably should have
he
taken more
actually
detailed notes.
he yeah, he actually took notes.
I
So yeah,
I took notes, not
I
great
I was
notes. Had
spending
I
all my
known, had I known that you were gonna phone this in,
well, I didn't phone this in. I was putting together these elaborate intros. I mean, you're glorifying you. So I'm
I
gonna
mean,
replay. I'm going to replay the second the one where you reacted to the movie, and then
are you
the
gonna
legend. I'm gonna replay that, and then I'm gonna play
are
the
are you gonna
outro.
are you gonna play like my first intro for you? Are you gonna play that one?
Do you want me to? I mean, only thing you're doing is looking at a bat. So I used
No,
that
not
as an
that one.
excuse.
Not that one. I'm saying the phone call one. Is that one gonna get played?
Yeah, that's the outro.
Oh, okay, great,
I made
perfect. There you
that's
go.
the outro. Yeah.
Everyone,
So
stay tuned.
nothing was
Stay tuned
wasted.
for the true genius. You guys are gonna be like, oh man, this Pips guy, he's got a future in comedy. This is great.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing was, I mean, like the things I ask you to do are based on our interactions, basically. So you're the one that actually inspires these. So like when I asked you to do, when I remember I made that Wheel of Time season 2 satire video, and I had you
Yeah.
say what you said. Reason why I had you say what you said is because you said that to me. You said that to me on the Discord. You literally said, "Fuck you, nerd," or "Fuck you, Brian, you're just a dipshit from Chicago," because I think it
All
was
of you
you
guys,
talked you talked about a certain. If I remember, those reason why I remember is because I laughed my ass off when I read that. Like the last thing I ever expected you to do was to respond that way to me. But apparently a certain orange president basically revealed his height and weight, and you guys were talking about it, and like, no, he's not, because a certain Pips is that very same height and weight, and then you tagged me saying that I could confirm this, and because it's a political channel, so I decided to play the politics and say no comment, like a good
Mhm.
press secretary would. And then your reaction was priceless, and so that's where I got the idea to have you say that. The problem
All I'm gonna
is
say
I've
here,
gotten some
all I'm gonna
really
say
weird
here.
comments regarding you in that video that I deleted. I'll just say
Oh, really? People said mean
that.
things
Well, we
about
gotta
me.
remember, no, not mean things, just creepy things, because Wheel of Time has a lot of very gay fans.
Oh,
So yeah,
so they were
they
they
said you were
weren't mean
hot.
things. They were actually
No,
they
no,
were
no,
actually
no, yeah,
flattering things. They
flattering
were
things. Yeah. They said you were.
really they were they
Yeah,
were they were into
yeah.
this. Okay.
Or maybe they were talking about. Maybe they were talking about
You know,
Steve. You say they
I
said
mean
they only thing they said was the guy in the blue shirt. So maybe it was Steve. Might have been
all,
Steve.
all I
Yeah,
want
it
to
might have been
say
you
is
or
that it's
Steve.
good. It's good to know that orientation is not exclusive on bad taste. That gay guys who are into this also have bad taste. Like I tell my wife all the time, like I'm lucky she has low standards. So um, but I just want to say that you guys are getting this view of me that I just say mean things to Brian all the time. He tells me to say these things. Like, don't listen to this guy. He makes me say these mean things to him, and then he like
No,
puts
no,
it
no.
in there and he cuts
Pips is
things.
a
He
Pips is a
deceptively
stick
edits.
guy.
It's deceptively edited.
It's deceptive. No, you know what? I agree. You know what? We might disagree on aspects of the wheel time, but this is something that I'm totally with you on. So yeah, Pip's a stand-up guy. He didn't have to let me stay, with him when I visited him. Didn't have to, we've been really good friends. And I really appreciate it. That's why I enjoy having these conversations. That's why I keep annoying you, inviting you on, and bullying you into it. And what's funny is me just saying that means that you've been a bad influence, because that's what you. I think you said that about me first. You said, "Oh, Brian bullied me into doing this." Yeah.
Me a bad
So
influence?
you've been a bad.
That's,
Yeah.
Why
Why am I
is not a
drinking?
myth. He's a real thing, and I'm not a bad influence at all. And my beer is done. So
His beer is done. So
second beer. The second beer was this guy here. In case anyone, the glare. There you go. There you can kind of read it, and then it's gone.
So
Right.
I forgot. I know we're supposed to be over. One last question. Well, not two. Well, one last question, and then I'll have you plug your stuff. The Oktoberfest that you said. So is it basically just is it very hoppy, or is it not, or is it more like a
You mean like a German sort of like an
yeah?
Oktoberfest
It's
beer?
been a
Is
while
that what you
since
mean?
I don't think I've ever had an Oktoberfest beer. Yeah, I know.
No. I mean,
Not a big beer drinker.
No, so German style lagers, ales, things like that. They're not going to be super hoppy. No, it's not going to be an IPA. It's not going to be even just a pale ale. It's going to be a lot maltier. So you're gonna get more malted flavors, and then
Oh.
the sort of wheat and stuff like that.
See, look, you see, Pips. You say you don't bring anybody. You brought. Look who you brought. Shy never comes unless you're here. Trip never. Well, Trip comes once in a while. Pix. We got Pix Calcus, Wheel of Time expert and fellow Nintendo nerd is here. What's up, buddy? How you doing? One of these days, I gotta get you on. Maybe the book club. I'll DM you. So, all right.
You
Well,
absolutely should. He's a good dude.
oh yeah. No doubt. All right. So, Pips, buddy. I had Dane on a few weeks ago. We were talking The Great Hunt with Miss Mara Muses, because she just read the book herself. And you know what? Despite my feelings of the Wheel Time, I still love that book in particular. I still love that book. I love Dragon Reborn. So we talked about it. Still enjoyed it. And he's the reason why I knew you came back is because Dane told me. But what is going on with the rewatch? Because he told me that you are the one responsible for editing it and putting it out.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I've got some of them
I got to
edited that
know.
we've recorded. We're actually gonna do, I think Monday we're doing our next one in the Discord. We'll be doing it at some point. I'll get enough pressure from mostly Trip and other people in the Discord to post them on YouTube also. The editing, it takes a lot of time to edit the videos afterwards to get them ready to post on YouTube. And with
what kind of editing do you have to do?
And everything else.
What kind of editing do you have to do? It's just clean up the audio.
Mostly just have to clean up all of the really just anti-Semitic stuff that Dane says.
Really? No way.
That's not true.
No way. I didn't think so.
Not true. It's Alex that says all the anti-Semitic. That's also not true.
Okay, that I can believe. Alex is good.
No, it's mostly a lot of audio mixing and balancing, doing the watermarking stuff to try and get around the copyright enforcement. There's a bunch of stuff on that end that I have to deal with.
Do you guys still do the silhouettes of the horrors and everything? The whole what do you call it? The Mystery Science Theater style.
Yep. So I have to go through and take the avatar of the person that we were on with, and
Yeah.
Photoshop it, and get it to match in with the thing, and do the stuff. I mean, honestly, it's not that much work. It probably takes me, I don't know, 5 or 10 hours to edit an episode to get it ready to release.
Mhm.
It's just finding the 5 or 10 hours to do it. But we are recording the next one coming up this week. We'll do a couple more hopefully before I rotate back overseas. So we'll be doing episode 2 of season 2. I think with Technically Mexican, I think is our next guest. It might be
Good guy.
somebody else. I might be misremembering, but there you go.
One of these days,
Dane does the coordination with our guests, so
okay.
I just show up and do all the back end stuff.
One of these days, I'll have to watch the rewatches, but I have to finish the series. I have to finish the series first, which will probably take me 10 years at the rate I'm going. So, yeah. So eventually, I'll watch, and it sounds like it's going to take 10 years to finish season 2, based on
I think
based on the rate you guys are going.
I'm hoping that we'll be done with them by like early next year. I'll have a couple months when I'm home, come the new year. So we'll do a few more episodes while I'm home. We'll do maybe 1 or 2 more while I'm gone on this next rotation, and then that should get us to like episode 3 or 4 in the season, and then we should be able to knock them out pretty quick once I'm back home. So it's a work in progress. There's a couple other streams that I want to do. I want to do some stuff with the graphic novels and just like get some people on, talk lore.
Bro,
do some other stuff.
I got screwed. I don't remember what issue it was, but it was, I think it was issue 6 or something, because I buy them digitally on my Kindle. It was the same issue as the previous issue. And so when I got the issue after that, the whole the whole fight with the Trollocs, the whole Leandrin, holding Rand scene, I didn't get that. And I tried to, I deleted it. And here's the thing. If you delete something on Amazon digitally, you have to buy it again, the pricks. So there's nothing's been said. So I actually DM'd you about that. I don't know because I know you have the physical copies. Is that have you looked at them at all?
I have. I haven't like gone through them and really like. I want to take pictures of all the pages and stuff like that and set them up so that we can do a stream and like look through them and talk about it and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, I totally forgot you DM'd me about that. That's on me.
Yeah, well,
it's because I'm a bad friend. You can say it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you might be. You probably maybe. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I felt like the other day, or yesterday, I felt like I was texting you too much. You went silent on me, and I was just like, oh, I must be annoying. I must be annoying Pips. And you say, oh no, I was hanging out with a friend. Oh, I see. I do that too. I turn off my phone or I don't even or I leave my phone in the car usually when I'm out. So
yeah, I just like I'll have my phone like
Pips has friends, by the way. He's got friends. Isn't that wonderful, everybody? He's got friends.
That's not true. I have people who allegedly tolerate me, but secretly they dislike me, as any good person.
Same here. See, that's why we get along, because that's me too, and I'm not even yeah. I mean, right. Yeah. So yeah, Pips. Yeah, the other day Pips told himself, because we had a conversation, or disagreement, a whole bunch of us, and Pips thought he was being condescending, and he said someone was being condescending, but he was actually referring to himself in the third person as being condescending, and I nearly went over my head, so. Yeah,
I was just telling him that I, hoped that I wasn't being an asshole by accident, which I apparently I do. Apparently, I'm just.
There are times where you have been. I've gotten mad, but this was one of those cases where I knew exactly where it was coming from. So that's one thing I ask myself whenever people say stuff to me. I'm like, sometimes people say rude stuff, or sometimes people say stuff that might come off a certain way. But then I ask myself, where is this coming from? And that's what everybody should be doing when dealing with that, because it means it's important to try to understand the other person. And I don't think, and the thing is, Pips is not a mean guy. He's not a mean guy at all. There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
You guys heard it here.
Yeah.
At 2 hours and 15 minutes into the stream, so no one's ever gonna hear that I'm not a mean guy. And you know what, Trip? That's just
yeah.
okay.
So
fine, granted. Yeah. That's
so yeah.
why
So
you're not gonna get you. Yeah. All right. No.
All right. All right. You're done. I'm done. So everybody, thanks for being here. Choporial is going to be on Friday. I'm going to be having a guest for the first time. His name is Sub Commander Tal. He's a big presence on X, and he's a big original series aficionado. He definitely knows more than I do. So I can't wait to have a conversation with him about the original Star Trek series. I don't know if you know this, Pips, but I like that show. I think that's I tell you that's my favorite show of all time. Yes, I think I have told you that a billion times.
Do you like that show? Okay.
I think I do. I think I do. It's timeless in my opinion.
I mean, every time I hear you talk about this show called is it called Picard? I don't know. You say such nice things about it. It's hard to tell.
Oh, you mean a season 3? Oh yeah. I talk all nice stuff all the time. Yep. Oh God, that show. Yep. One of these days I have to get one of these bigger guys on and have a nice little conversation about that and try to get to the bottom of why they hyped it up. But that's just me. I'm just what do you call me? Dipshit that nobody cares about. So yeah, pretty much. So
he tells me to say that.
I do. Keeps me grounded. So but yeah, so Friday Choporial, Saturday will be the next. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of streams. Saturday is going to be the next serial horror. I was going to make a preview or a teaser, but I didn't have time because I made Pips's legendary videos. So blame Pips. But yeah, next serial horror is going to be on Saturday night. It's going to be spooky Saturday night. Me and Salty Traveling Sea are going to be talking John Carpenter's The Fog. I don't know if you've ever seen The Fog.
Yeah, that'll be good.
But it's a good movie. It's more like a ghost story than anything else. It's more supernatural. It's not slasher. Mm-hmm. So it won't bore you. So, but yeah, that's going to be on Saturday and Sunday. If I manage to get 4 more chapters read, the first book club for the Lord of Chaos. That's the plan. So, yeah. So, who will be on? Well, whoever's available. I'll DM a whole bunch of people. I'll say, hey, here's a link. You want to join us at 6 p.m. Central? So I mean, it might be the Pips, but the Pips might be busy because his time is very limited.
I'm gonna ask him beforehand whether or not he liked the chapters that he read, and then if he says that he didn't like them, I'm gonna say I'm gonna be on the stream, and then I'm gonna cancel at the last minute.
That was funny. That was funny.
I'm gonna sabotage.
That's not the trick. That's me laughing. That's me genuinely laughing at the joke. Dude, the first 3 chapters were fucking fantastic. Mazrim Time is such a great additional character. Like, I was enjoying every second of it. And honestly, I really liked the first chapter where Rand was training with those guys. And, he had them, he's like, I'll pay you if you can hit me and everything.
Yeah.
And then you had Davram Bashir, another great character, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit after the first 3 chapters, after the farm and all that. Chapter 4 was okay. I mean, there was more.
All we're learning about this is that Nerdporial is not into edging. He is not at all into edging. If anyone ever
I don't know what that means.
Go look it up. That means. Unless you're a child watching this stream, which you shouldn't be. There's bad language. is watching a scary movie. You shouldn't be watching that. So Shy, if you're still here, leave.
Isn't Shy
don't
like
look up
12?
edging.
Isn't Shy like 12 or something? All right, don't.
According
no.
to the lore, he's 12. Yeah.
So, all right. What did you say? What did you say? I don't even remember what you said. Edging?
Nah, don't worry about it. Walk in the light.
Hey, don't coerce me into walking in the light. That could be evil too, you know. So, all right, but yeah, so that's the plan, and and then next week we'll see where how green the grass is next week. So been trying to contact people, see if they want to do stuff, and I hope if Pips has time, I'd like to do one more stream with him before he redeploys, but we'll talk about that offline. So yeah, you heard it here first. You know, if you want this to happen, bully him into doing it. So, all right. So other than that, we're gonna replay not the original opening, but we're gonna replay the clip I made. It's called "Pips Wins Again," and then we're gonna play the voicemail. So everybody, take care. Stay Nerporial. Have a great night. Subscribe to the White Cloaks. Watch the rewatches from season 1, and everybody have a great night. And stay safe. And everybody in Florida, we're thinking about you. Take care.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I mean, this looks this is a classic. So, all right, fine. You get a pass this time, but you're still a dipshit. I have won again, Nerdporial.
You have reached the voicemail box of 281-330-8004. I'm sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey, dipshit. Record a voicemail message like a normal person. I mean, I know everyone in Chicago is busy right now with gang wars, the mayor firing the entire school board and appointing a bunch of his friends, and preparing for the upcoming November riots. But, dude, it's 2024. Do better. Speaking of, I was happy to get the invite for another movie watch, and then you sent me the movie. How many times have I told you I'm not a horror genre fan? Whatever, this movie's a classic. I'll give you a pass this one time. You're still a dipshit, though. Oh, yeah, shit, this is Pips. I forgot to say that. Hope this is actually Brian's voicemail and not some random person. If so, disregard all that. Have a good day. If it is Brian, yeah, the dipshit thing is still valid. See ya.
We are approaching that time of year again. A time of great exhilaration. A time of great pleasure. A time of great fear. The darker sides of all crave that latter delight from themselves, but even more so, from others. To satiate that hunger, our dark selves take interest in entertainment from tales of the macabre that appeal to our deepest fears as only mortals face. The only way to achieve this is to begin the dark ritual where Brian, the Nerporial lifeform himself, and a special guest will discuss a particular tale during this season to ward off pure evil, as well as to entertain and to educate. Proceed at your own peril to the third season of the Serial Horror Chat.